Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video we're going to take a look at the recently buffed Gholdengo with Astonish in the Master League Premier Cup. The Master League Premier Cup is going to be available for 1 week only, and we're going to have, of course, here no legendary Pokemon, but we have a very strong team. I went immediately 8-2 with this team in the 2 sets that I played, and I do think that this team is a very good, consistent team. There are sometimes some weaknesses to it, like of course it is not perfect. I feel like it is very difficult to build a perfect team for this particular meta. We want to see here our Feraligatr as a Say-Stop, which is a very interesting Pokemon. It's very funny that this Pokemon has play in every single league, but as you will see, with Ice Beam as a coverage move, this Pokemon has even potential to beat Pokemon like Dragonite, which is really cool about it, and it's just very versatile as a Say-Stop. Like, not a lot of Pokemon really want to swap in, and Metagross definitely does not count towards it as well. Even though we have 1000 less CP than the opponent, we're still going to be able to get a lot of pressure onto the opponent, as we can go for 2 Hydro Cannons, which will do a ton of damage. But not only this, we can also now swap out into the Gholdengo, and now we have to make a little bit of a play. I expect the opponent to swap out immediately into the Mamoswine to catch me off guard with a high horsepower, and with this I am going to be able to now just go for the Shadow Ball straight away, knock them out, and this game is over. Next opponent, we're going to have Primarina in the lead. This Pokemon is going to be an interesting one because it depends on what it is running. It is going to run here Waterfall. This is mostly one of my earlier matchups, but generally speaking, I guess it is the best play to try to catch a Hydro Cannon on your Feraligatr. It will take, I think, 5 Waterfalls, so 15 turns total to get to a Hydro Cannon with Primarina. So after, for example, here 5 Astonish, you might be able to just swap out into your Feraligatr, and you're going to be able to maybe catch a Hydro Cannon, and you still do some neutral damage anyway with Shadow Claw. So basically, if Primarina is running Charm, it is better for you to go ahead and keep the Gholdengo in, because you're going to be able to resist it and have a great matchup there. If the opponent is going to have Waterfall, you maybe want to try to catch the move, as well as it's going to be actually an okay matchup even for the Goodra later on, as Thunder Punch is going to be super effective, and they'll have to go kind of for their charge moves in order to do damage against you, which is definitely a little bit more manageable than what we usually see there with Charm, of course. And so we're going to encounter another Primarina. Definitely more common is going to be the Waterfall variant, but here we will see how this matchup is going to play out with the Charm variant. This is looking very solid for us so far already, as we will see the opponent using a shield against the Shadow Ball from the opponent. We're going to be able to use a shield here as well. Hydro Cannon is going to get shielded up, and as we will see, we have a nice advantage in terms of damage output, but the opponent makes a great play at catching the move into like their Gyarados there. Do they have Waterfall? Do they have the Dragon Breath? This is the question. If they have Dragon Breath, you maybe want to stay in again for a little bit, do a little bit more fast move pressure. If they have Waterfall, it's going to be a great matchup for your Goodra. And Goodra is one of the main assets for this team as well. Having a lot of play against a lot of the current meta is really cool, especially Thunder Punch gives it so much versatility against so many of the current top meta Pokemon. And as you can see, the opponent goes for the Disarming Voice against us, knocking us out, but this is fine as Gholdengo has already a lot of energy. Gholdengo gets the full farm down, and Gholdengo is not going to get a KO here because sadly Rhyperior doesn't really like water, and so Feraligatr is the better choice here to knock them out. And we can move on now to the next opponent, basically, as they have no play of winning this one at all. Even a Rock Wrecker would not really knock us out because we have a shield, and so yeah, move on to the next opponent. Gholdengo against the Rhyperior. Is it Gholdengo or is it Gholdengo? I honestly I just don't really know what the official term for this one is. But anyway, let me know in the comment section. Do you like this cup? I actually really enjoy this cup. I feel like it's so cool to see like Master League without legendary Pokemon. I feel like it's a very nice cup to play right now as well. Yes, it's very fairy type heavy, but you can kind of counter them as well. It is possible, of course, to run Pokemon like Magnezone. With this being said, I don't actually think there is a good poison type Pokemon out there, right? Like, we would have access to the Roserade, which I already took a look at basically in the Open Master League, where it maybe has even a little bit more play because there are different fairy type Pokemon that are even a little bit better for it. But just generally speaking, I don't think there's really a good poison type Pokemon that gets so high CP in Pokemon Go that is not Nihilego. And so poison typing, definitely something that I would like to see, I don't know, like a little bit more in the future? I don't know. It's a very tricky one there. Apparently, the highest one that I have currently, other than of course the Roserade, which I already made a video about, is going to be Gengar, which also a Pokemon that has a lot of play thanks to Sludge Bomb and the recently buffed Shadow Punch. So definitely an interesting Pokemon as well, but I don't think there's actually really a different Pokemon that you could use its part Poison typing for this meta in order to counter them. So that's quite interesting. Next opponent, we're going to encounter Empoleon in the lead, a Pokemon that I kind of want to take a look at as well. Here's the question, are they running Metal Claw or are they running Steel Wing? Both of them are definitely very solid options. In theory, I guess they could also run Waterfall, but that's very, very rare. If someone is running Empoleon in this meta, it is mainly because of the Steel typing, because they want to destroy Fairy type Pokemon. And you don't really gonna be able to do this there with Waterfall. You either need to have the Stab Steel Wing or the Metal Claw. As we'll see here right now, the opponent is going to swap back into the Empoleon, and it's actually the worst one for me. It's going to be Metal Claw. Why is it worse? Because the opponent is going to be able to get more energy now against the Feraligatr. They can actually get 3 fast moves in instead of like 1 Steel Wing most likely. And also it makes a little bit the matchup here worse for us, but we can still go for a Shadow Ball against the opponent, get them kind of, get the shield from the opponent, I guess. They're gonna use a shield as well here. Hydro Cannon is coming through, and they're gonna reveal the final Pokemon. It's going to be the Dragonite. You might think, why are you not swapping out here? You have a Dragon-type Pokemon in the bag, but our Dragon-type Pokemon is not actually going to be a great answer to the opponent's Dragon-type Pokemon. But also, it does what it's supposed to do. As we will see here, Dragon Claw is going to do enough damage to two-shot us, but the opponent is energy dry. The opponent is low enough that we can astonish them down, making it a perfect battle here, as we are going to be able to perfectly align ourselves there, get the Shadow Ball off last second and knock out the opponent with our Gholdengo. Like, honestly, this Pokemon is a really, really strong. And it's also like kind of a Pokemon that I guess you can hunt down a little bit easier. I think you need the Nintendo Switch in order to really hunt this Pokemon, though. So I guess, yeah, there's a little bit of an entrance barrier there. But like, if you have a Nintendo Switch, if you have the games, it is definitely one of the better Pokemon to get. As I think you get like once a week or something like the instance for it, but you can quite easily get the XL candy for this Pokemon without any big troubles. But of course, yeah, the main thing is to get a Switch. Anyway, we're going to see the Gyarados against us, which is running Waterfall, which is really good for us, unless they're running Outrage. Outrage would be a bit of an issue for us. Crunch is coming through though, getting the defense drop. Doesn't really matter in this scenario, it's totally fine. We're going to be able to still take those Waterfalls quite easily, but it might matter for the next scenario. Let's see what's going to be. It's going to be Togekiss, and I think it's actually better for us. I do think actually the debuff really helped us here, because we would only get to 1 Thunder Punch anyway. Like, truth be told, there was no way, even with the debuff, like without the debuff, that we would have been able to get to that move. And with this, like, they get less energy on that Togekiss, and this might help us out later on as well here. So let's see. We're gonna see that the opponent gonna be able to go for a charge move against us here. They're gonna go for the Wall Charge, and this is fine, because they can go back into our Feraligatr, go for the full farm down, have a nice amount of energy, and the Togekiss has no way to go for a charge move, allowing us to go for the Ice Beam to knock them out. Next opponent, we're going to have the opponent's Gyarados against us in lead here. This is going to be, again, a very interesting matchup. They have Dragon Breath, but also they have Crunch, and I don't really want to have Crunch up against my Gholdengo, especially as you're going to have like kind of an ABB style line. It's not really the case, of course. Like, we don't really have a typing like that is same for my backline, but it's definitely that you kind of would like to swap out. Like, it's definitely that you kind of want to swap out to the Feraligatr if possible. As you will see here, the opponent goes for a Crunch. We're going to be debuffed. The opponent is going to swap out into their, what's called Magnezone here. That's the name. Magnezone is going to be Shadow. Magnezone is not going to be able to hit really Goodra hard. Like, we're going to have the Mirror Shot here. But the opponent is very, very lucky. They got the attack drop here immediately. And I'm fairly certain they got another one here as well. Yeah, that is insanely lucky. We are barely doing any damage with this one now. And this can impact the battle quite a bit. This would have done around double the amount of damage if they didn't get the debuff. One debuff is 30%, so getting 2 debuffs back to back is like 9% chance basically. And that's quite lucky for sure. But they're gonna go for the Wild Shot here now as well. They definitely would have been knocked out already. But we still have a chance. I'm not too worried about it yet, at least. We will see the shield coming up for me. It's going to be the Awkward Tail. But it might be that if we lose this battle, which I don't know, it might be coming down to us not being very lucky there with all of the debuffs, but it looks really decent for us because there's a Metagross, and don't think the opponent really enjoys this one. And so yes, we're going to be able to win this battle, even though we were insanely unlucky. And this is the beauty of this team. Like, honestly, this team is amazing. This team is so great to be playing there as well. Like, this team is just working out so well. Like, there's not really a Pokemon that I'm worried about. Rhyperior in the lead, of course, horrible lead for us. We can swap into our own Feraligatr, which is great. We're going to have neutral Shadow Claw against the Primarina, and we're going to have Hydro Cannon to chip them a little bit down as well. We will see the shield coming up from the opponent immediately as well, as Hydro Cannon is going to be now enough to hopefully get the knockout. Let's see, it is not enough to get the knockout. We have to invest another shield if we want to align ourselves, and we definitely want to do that, as this is going to allow us to now align the Goodra against the opponent's Rhyperior, as we're going to have now the Florges against us. This is looking quite neutral. Like, I'm not too sure who's going to be able to win the battle, because it comes down kind of to what can Rhyperior really do and how much is a resisted hit from that Florges going to do, as well, as we're going to have that one up very soon against our Gholdengo. As we'll see, the opponent going to knock us out. They swap out immediately. Now it's Rhyperior against Goodra, which is a bit of an awkward matchup thanks to Breaking Swipe. This move is going to... Wait, it's not Breaking Swipe. Why do they go for Rock Wrecker? This is going to be very interesting, because I was like, that doesn't make sense. But honestly, I didn't actually see that. I did not see that the opponent would have went for this. But this is better for me, because now they used my energy. And this will allow us to get to the move. But we only get to the move very, very late. And so sadly, we're going to lose this battle now. Breaking Swipe coming through. We don't get the debuff. Not getting the debuff here is a really, really nice for us. Like, literally... Yeah, so super important, because as we're going to see here as well, the opponent goes for a straight charge move there with the Florges. It is not enough to knock us out, and we're just going to do just barely enough damage to knock them out. And so here we are in the second to last battle. Encountering a Pokemon Elite that is okay, but it is for sure not great for me to play against. It's going to be Magnezone, of course. Magnezone is one of those Pokemon that do quite a lot of damage and have great coverage as well there, with especially that a Wild Charge. Wild Charge is really free in the current meta, unless you're going to have like a Rhyperior against you, basically hit everything for quite a lot of damage there. Like, Wild Charge, especially from the Shadow variant, is just doing so much damage. Here we're going to see the opponent's Primarina. They're running Waterfall again, which means we're going to have our Feraligatr as our main answer for this Pokemon. And this is looking quite decent, as Disarming Voice is going to connect here. We're going to be able to go ahead, go for another Hydro Cannon, try to get the knockout. And we are in a very solid spot for alignment, at least, as the next Hydro Cannon is going to connect here. Let's see if that's going to work out for us. It is not yet, but they swap out themselves into the Venusaur. I'm like, that's great. I have literally two Pokemon in the back that are great against Venusaur. Like, I have Gholdengo, which is going to be able to double resist Sludge Bomb and single resist the Frenzy Plant. And we're going to have here the Goodra, which is going to be able to single resist the Frenzy Plant and just take neutral damage from the Sludge Bomb, which is generally speaking a good matchup for both of the Pokemon that are left. As we will see as well, I got a nice amount of energy and the opponent goes down. And to the final opponent of today, we're going to encounter Gyarados here. It's running Waterfall, which is not ideal for our lead. If it would have been the other one, it would have been definitely way better for me. But as you will see here, we're going to still try our best. The opponent is going to decide to take the Hydro Cannon on that Primarina. And we will see again another Hydro Cannon coming through. It's going to get them very low. We can go for another one. Forcing a shield here, making the matchup quite easy for us. The issue is, of course, they're going to be able to do a lot of damage back to my Gholdengo, as they're going to be able to just, overform a lot, get a lot of energy, go for Hydro Cannon. But luckily, we're going to be able to knock them out afterwards, allowing them basically not there to get another one. And sadly, we just got completely hardwalled here. That's going to be the final battle. Like, Alere just got completely hardwalled the entire way through. And this is fine. Like, this is fine. This is something that's going to be happening to you as well when you play this kind of meta, because this meta is not really forgiving for getting RPS. It's kind of a bit tricky with that kind of stuff. A lot of teams are like ABB style, and if they just align themselves correctly, there's nothing that you can do. And so It is what it is, but this time around, we still try our best. Maybe we can go for another Shadow Ball and knock them out. They still have 1 shield left, but we also have 1 shield left, and so it really depends on who's going to be able to outspeed who. As you will see, the opponent goes for 1 charge move, but there should not be another charge move yet. I'm fairly certain we're going to be able to outspeed them, but never mind. We're not, and so sadly this is going to be the end of this video. Thanks all for watching though. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I will see you then. Bye bye.